Hello guys, this will be my February 1814 letters from Romantically written, and you will hear the dryer in the background. London, 5th February 1814. My dearest cousin Charlotte, I am happy to write that I am safely in London after a frigid 3-day journey to the home of Anna, Lady Davington, who was my father's younger sister. I was very glad to have Anna's lady's maid Alice with me, as I would never have known how to pay or find safe lodging along the route. No one dared cross Alice at any of the inns at which we rested. We had been without a lady's maid for so long that I barely remember sweet Tilly helping Mamma prepare to go to a ball. Tilly would create such intricate hairstyles with jewels and flowers, and Mamma looked so lovely. While those days are gone, I am glad we could retain Molly, even though she is not as adept at putting curling papers in my hair. Well, I can say without a doubt that Alice is no Tilly, and clearly does not relish her task of accompanying me to London. She was quick to let me know the error of my ways, and had no patience for my grief. There is much I must learn this season, and quickly, or else my ribs will continue to be on the receiving end of Alice's knitting needles. This journey would have filled your sketchbooks to the brim. After several rainy days in the carriage, our first stop in London was Aunt Anna's home in Berkeley Square. It is a lovely white townhouse with glossy black shutters, and will doubtless see a profusion of wisteria blossoming along its entry this spring. My room is wonderful, mauve silk fabric walls, and a bathing room of my own. Heaven! Our first excursion in town was to Aunt Anna's Modesta for a new wardrobe, which was exhilarating but exhausting. I was fitted for new dresses, riding habits, pelisses, shades, hats, gloves, and a mountain of accessories I can't wait to share with you. Most of the dresses are still being constructed, although the Modesta sent me home with the basics: a day dress and a traveling dress. The day dress is a lovely pale blue sprigged muslin, and I am so grateful for it, as I quickly realized that my wardrobe from home is not up to snuff for London society. Just yesterday we took tea with 4 families. I was most overwhelmed by the not-so-subtle sneers I received from several of the other young ladies. They were such snobs. I tried my best to make polite conversation, but they laughed at my questions or downright ignored me. I have never suffered such embarrassment. My aunt has been so kind and lovely, although very busy. I thought she had missed the way the other young ladies behaved toward me at tea, but I'm starting to realize not much gets past her. At breakfast this morning, she gently explained that anyone new to social circle, even someone poor like me, is seen as competition for a husband, especially since there are fewer gentlemen available due to the war with Napoleon. I do not know how I could be seen as competition with my lack of fortune and country manners, but so it is. It would be nice to have one confidant here. I so wish you would join me. Do you think your mamma plans to be in London for the season? Please beg her. All my love, your dear friend, Caroline. Brighton, 12th of February, 1814. Dearest Caroline, my poor friend, how cruel the other girls are to you. I cannot imagine being so openly rude to anyone. London seems so different from our regular lives. I would love to join you, but I'm afraid Mamma and Papa said that would not be possible. Papa's health continues to be poorly, and we could not bear to leave him for so many months. I'm afraid his health would suffer too greatly to stay in London for such an extended period of time. We're staying at the personage of Mr. Barrow, the curate with whom Papa studied at university. Mr. Barrow is traveling on the continent for some time. As his lodgings were available to us, it is a blessing for Papa to be able to experience the health benefits of the sea at such a reasonable cost, causing him very little worry. However, it is very much a bachelor's lodging. We spent the first few weeks airing out the place and tidying up stacks of books. Mr. Barrow's furniture is quite shabby, and his cat Damien seems to have the run of the place, contributes to the threadbare appearance. Isn't it odd for a clergyman to have a cat named after the devil? I do love the sea air. It does good for all of us. At least I have Susanna for company, even if she is only 14. Mamma says I should be grateful to have a sister, as she is a built-in friend. I tried to remember this when Susanna stole my best hat for church and tore its new pink velvet ribbons. Brighton is not without its diversions. We take many picturesque walks, often near the seashore. There are huge cliffs that plummet into the sea, making quite the dramatic vista, especially during the tempestuous weather we experienced in February. I have collected many beautiful seashells during our walks. My favorite little shop in Brighton sells the loveliest picture frames and dolls decorated with seashells. They are well outside my budget, but I procured a little pot of glue, and I'm creating my own little crafts on dreary days. Please act pleasantly surprised when you get something covered in glue and broken seashells for Christmas. I cannot write to you without including some very exciting news. There is a military encampment near town. There was a military parade after church last Sunday. Susanna overheard Mamma and me talking about one particular officer who looked quite dashing. She asked me such a loud voice exactly which handsome officer we were talking about. I blushed nearly as red as their coats. Alas, I do not think I am the only young lady in town. I'd written something at the presence of so many young men. I don't know that one. I can't figure that word out. I even saw a Miss Miranda Bartlett swoon and faint completely. It worked out well for her, as a young officer with the brightest blue eyes I have ever seen caught her just before she hit the ground. Mamma said never try a trick like that. Do you think it was a trick? I would never think of fainting on purpose. I must dash. We are expected at the home of Miss Honeyfield tonight for tea. She is one of Mr. Barrow's parishioners. We met her briefly at church, and she filled our ears with such gossip about all her neighbors. I will relay all the details about the people of Brighton whom you have never met, as long as you promise to do the same for me in London. All my love, Charlotte. London, 19th of February, 1814. Dear Charlotte, oh how helpful to have a Miss Honeyfield. She sounds like a beneficial acquaintance, but potentially dangerous creature. I recently became acquainted with my own Miss Honeyfield, Lady Catherine Ashworth, Dowager Countess of Notley, and benefactor of my Aunt Anna. Aunt Anna has been the dear companion of Lady Ashworth since she was quite young. They both have taken it upon themselves to help me navigate the London season. Just yesterday, we took tea with Lady Ashworth at her home in Mayfair. She is a formidable creature, not in size, but through her posture and attire. Lady Ashworth still wears her widow's weed and adorns her crepe silk dress with an enormous brooch featuring Lord Ashworth's hair. I have a feeling she simply pitied me, as Aunt Anna likely appraised her of my dismal prospects. Before we could even exchange pleasantries, Lady Ashworth announced, "Caroline, you will attend the Warwick ball, and you will be attired appropriately. None of this country day dress passing for a ball gown." Needless to say, I was taken aback by Lady Ashworth's brusque manner, especially from such a diminutive character. But upon seeing the smirk on my aunt's face, I realized that this was the way things were. Hold your tongue, and simply smiled. And that was how the rest of our afternoon proceeded until immediately after tea, Lady Ashworth called up her carriage, and we went to our Modesta, Mademoiselle Florian, without an appointment. Lady Ashworth simply descended from her carriage, walked into the shop, and said, "Fifi, Miss Caroline needs gowns." If Miss Florian was surprised, she did not let on, and immediately pulled the most elegant fabrics and adornments. "Oh, Charlotte, how I implore you to marry well, so that you may afford to be a customer of Miss Florian. Her shop is exquisite, a confection of pale pinks and silk and lace. Miss Florian advised lighter colors to stand out in the ballroom over the darker evening gowns. Isn't that smart? I chose a light blue silk gown with a sheer overcoat of cream silk chiffon embroidered with the loveliest tiny seed pearls lining along the edge. I felt like a princess, although one being stuck with needles by Miss Florian and commanded by Lady Ashworth. However, as we were about to depart the shop, one of the ladies from my first tea with Aunt Anna entered. It was the snobbiest one of them all, Miss Bianca Grashman, accompanied by her mother. Aunt Anna and Lady Ashworth were greeted with warmth by the Gresham ladies, but the icy greeting I received communicated quite efficiently that I am an interloper in their world. Miss Bianca affected such astonishment that I would be attending the Warwick ball, and her mother applauded Lady Ashworth and Aunt Anna on their charity towards me. For the second time in one day, I held my tongue. It is rather tender, I dare say. It took all my fortitude to not reply to Miss Gresham. I did not trust I will have such restraint in the future. Nevertheless, preparations for the ball continue. I fluctuate between excitement to simply experience attending a ball, and the pressure to make the most of it for the future of my family. Lady Ashworth and Aunt Anna seem to take my success as a personal challenge, and with their determination, I do not believe I could be in better hands. Wish me luck and write to me soon. I long to hear all your gossip. Caroline. Brighton, 26th of February, 1814. Dear Cousin Caroline, you are right about Miss Honeyfield. She is a dangerous creature. As my ma admonished me upon leaving Miss Honeyfield's cottage, if they'll gossip to you, they'll gossip about you. Susanna blathered to Miss Honeyfield that I was looking for a beau and hoped to be married to a rich officer by summer's end. I could have died on the spot. Mamma scolded Susanna for speaking out of turn, but as far as Susanna is concerned, the more attention, the better. She found a happy audience in Miss Honeyfield, who looked just like the cat that got the cream, or in this case, some new gossip. After church on Sunday, Miss Honeyfield made a special point of telling Susanna how lovely she looked in her new frock, which delighted Susanna to no end. I must be vigilant in hiding your letters, lest Susanna add their contents to her repertoire. Despite my mortification, Miss Honeyfield related some exciting news that was well worth the visit. There is to be a dance at the Old Ship Assembly Room this week, and Papa bought tickets for Mamma, Susanna, and I to attend. I expect the militia will be well represented at the dance. Can you believe it? What good fortune! Daily I practice the steps I learned at country dances back home. I think my peak-spirit Muslim will do for this assembly. Even though we are not plump in the pockets, Mama found me a lovely warm Celadon green wool pelisse lined with fur that stops right about the flounce of my helm. Ankle length pelisses are all the rage this season in Brighton, so I feel right in the pink of the fashion. I have seen a few very fashionable, elegant misses with shorter pelisses and even a velvet one lined with amine and embroidered with gold thread. Très elegante? Oh, I hope the day comes when I may buy whatever I want at the Modesta. Maybe Susanna was right. Maybe I am just looking for a rich officer. Oh, I mustn't forget to tell you, Miss Honeyfield, other less thrilling gossip. The vicar from a neighboring parish will be visiting this Sunday to deliver the sermon. Lady S invited several local ladies for tea last week, and most shockingly, her own dearly departed Mr. Honeyfield could not abide Miss Hancock's roast lamb. There you have it, all the most delicious morsel of gossip from Brighton. Rest assured, my next transmission would be full of the sights and sounds of my first Brighton dance. Wish me luck. Your cousin, Charlotte.